There's a very specific feeling that comes from standing next to people your own age and feeling like you somehow missed a step. Same age, same grade, same classroom, and somehow they all started looking older, taller, broader, like they'd quietly become teenagers, while I was still waiting for the invitation. I was the small one, the kid who looked like he'd accidentally walked into the wrong grade. You know how schools love lining everyone up by height? Class photos, assemblies, walking to another classroom. Line up by size. 4 words. But if you were the smallest, those 4 words felt completely different. Because you already knew exactly where you were going, the front, every single time. After a while, I stopped even looking at the line. I'd just walk straight to the front like it was my assigned seat. Because honestly, it kind of was. What I hated wasn't being first. It was what being first meant. Everyone behind me could compare themselves to me without even trying. There was nowhere to hide. I wasn't just short. I was skinny too. The kind of skinny where every hoodie looked like it belonged to your older brother. The sleeves swallowed your hands. The shoulders never sat where they were supposed to. Nothing quite fit. So I wasn't just the small kid, I was the small, skinny kid. And if you've ever been that kid, you already know what comes next. Nicknames. I'm not even going to repeat them. You probably have your own collection. Every small kid does. The strange part wasn't that people joked about it. Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. The strange part was how normal it all felt. Oh, you're tiny. People said it the same way they'd say, it's cold today. Nobody thought twice about it. It was just another fact about the room. Everybody accepted it. Everybody, except me. I'd go home and stand in front of the mirror, stretching as tall as I possibly could. Chin up, shoulders back, looking for any sign that maybe, finally, I'd grown. Every few weeks I'd check again. Same mirror, same hope, same answer. Nothing. I honestly thought I was just waiting to grow taller. Turns out, I was waiting for something completely different. Here's what I believed back then. I thought this was just a kid problem, something that would quietly disappear the second I finally looked my age. It didn't. It just followed me. Being the smallest kid when everyone else is small isn't that unusual. Being the one who still looks 14 when everyone else suddenly looks like adults, that's different. People talk to you differently. Waiters would slow down when they spoke to me. Not in a rude way, just differently. Adults would ask what grade I was in. I'd tell them. They'd laugh. No way. I would have guessed way younger. They always meant it as a compliment. It never felt like one. People explained simple things to me. Not because they thought I was stupid, because my face had already made up their mind. Then one night, everything came together. A group of us went somewhere that checked IDs at the door. Everyone in front of me walked straight in, no questions. Then it was my turn. The guy looked at me, looked at my ID, looked back at me, then looked at the ID again. You know that look people give you when they think they're about to catch you lying? That one. The ID was real. I was old enough. None of that mattered. For a few seconds, my face was more believable than the document in my hand. I ended up digging through my wallet, trying to find anything else with my name on it, standing there while everyone waited. Not because I'd done something wrong, just because my body had always been running on a different schedule. That was the part nobody explained. Inside, I didn't feel younger than everyone else. I'd lived the same years. I'd worried about the same things. I'd been through the same school. The only difference was what people saw first. And after hearing the same comments for long enough, I started believing them too. I honestly thought something had gone wrong, like everyone else had reached a checkpoint, and somehow, I'd missed it. For years, I thought the problem was my body. I thought if I could just grow a little taller, if I could just fill out, if I could just catch up, everything else would finally fall into place. Looking back, that was never really the problem. Growing late didn't hurt me. What hurt me was something much quieter. I stopped seeing it as something that was happening to me, and started seeing it as who I was. There's a huge difference. One is, I'm smaller right now. The other is, I'm the small one. One changes. The other follows you everywhere. Without realizing it, I carried that version of myself into rooms my body had already caught up to. Even after I got older, even after I finally grew, part of me still walked into every room expecting to be treated like the youngest person there. That's the strange thing about identities. Your body can move on long before your mind does. And I don't think this is only about height. Almost everyone has some version of this. Maybe you weren't the short kid. Maybe you were the quiet kid, the awkward kid, the one who never dated anyone, the one who thought everyone else had life figured out first. Different story, same mistake. We take something temporary and quietly turn it into a permanent description of ourselves. Looking back, I wasn't late. I was just measuring my life against someone else's clock. And that's a game nobody ever wins. Because there isn't one timeline. There are millions. Nobody just tells you that when you're standing at the front of the height line, wondering if you'll ever catch up. So, if you're the small one right now, the one who automatically walks to the front of every height line, the one people keep guessing is younger, the one who's quietly wondering if this is just who you'll always be, I wish someone had told me one thing. Temporary things have a strange habit of feeling permanent while you're living through them. I know that because I believed it too. Today, I'm taller than a lot of the people who used to stand behind me. Life has a weird sense of humor like that. The line everyone treated like it meant something eventually disappeared. Nobody lines adults up by height. Nobody asks who was the smallest kid in 7th grade. The world quietly moved on. The only person who didn't was me. That version of myself stayed around much longer than the height difference ever did. Looking back, that was the real problem. Not my body, the story I'd attached to it. Because even if I'd never grown another inch, I still deserved better than spending years believing my worth could be measured with the same tape measure they used in PE class. That's probably the biggest thing I wish someone had told me. Your body can take its time. Just don't let your identity get stuck waiting with it. Nobody told me that growing up and growing into yourself aren't always the same thing. Maybe nobody told you that either. That's why this channel exists. To talk about the things nobody told us.